Hello everyone. Sure, I only have one slide. Okay, well, so today I want to talk about a Buddhist take on sustainable consumption. So in my master's, I wrote a dissertation on this, so I've kind of compiled things into a little speech. So sustainable consumption is often portrayed as a technical matter in developed countries. We ought to recycle more and buy products that have been sourced and produced sustainably. In this talk, with the help of Buddhist knowledge, I want to challenge this understanding because I think it is too superficial for the depth of the issues that we as societies currently face. It's clear that we absolutely need technology to mitigate the negative impact we have on our environment. If everyone lived like the average consumer in the UK, we would need 2.6 Earths worth of resources to sustain the global population. Resource use has to be more efficient. However, historically, gains in technological efficiency have resulted in the so-called rebound effect. So that means efficiency gains are balanced out by increased consumption. And we can imagine that in the form of screens who used to consume a lot of power and now don't, but now they are found everywhere in cars or on the tube, stuff like that. So, and this is not often mentioned in countries' roadmaps to sustainability, this challenge. And also currently more than half of the UK's plastic waste is shipped to other countries who often do not have the infrastructure to deal with this waste. So it's quite clear that without behavioural change, we will not be able to overcome this issue. And I think this is an illuminating example how technology cannot be our only answer to the climate crisis. From a Buddhist point of view, the climate crisis, as all other problems, are fundamentally a matter of the mind and resulting behaviour. The root cause of our suffering, as the Buddha taught it, is dukkha, which also means dissatisfaction. And that is primarily caused by tanha, which means craving or desiring for something to be this way or the other way. In the context of consumerism, tanha is the attempt to fulfill desires through consumption as the primary means to contentment and happiness in life. In his book, Buddhist Economics, Venerable Payutto draws a distinction between a desire for pleasure or immediate gratification and a desire for long-term satisfaction. They can coincide, but are not the same. And we can see this, how eating sugar might be a pleasurable experience, but excessive indulgence probably causes us health problems. And the choice of short-term gains over long-term losses is one that we have to face with the environment as well. We can see how agricultural methods aimed at maximum output leave the soil almost completely unfruitful down the line. Buddhism is not alone in understanding that the desire for long-term well-being is really spiritual in nature. We want to belong and connect with others. Consuming presents an imperfect way to belong and connect, because trends constantly move, and to stay connected through consumption means to keep consuming new trends. It is quite a restless endeavor. But doesn't this contradict the meaning of sustainable and sustainable consumption? Or as David Lloyd put it, why is more always better when we can never have enough? Consumption can help us to find contentment and spiritual fulfillment, but this is done by means of discipline and restraints from a Buddhist point of view, not by rushing from one desire to the next. Sustainable consumption, this centers about consuming the minimum necessary to live a content life and meeting our needs for well-being in other ways, such as producing and creating, but also in non-consuming and non-producing. Firstly, also a part of the same process, and we cannot only create value for consumers. We must realize that production and creativity are as important in enabling workers to find spiritual fulfillment as consumption is. We must find ways to make jobs less repetitive and more stimulating, and this could be done, for example, by allowing workers to experience all corners of their business to get a better feel for their product and service. And then secondly, non-consuming and non-producing sound a little impractical, but they are part of the discipline and restraint that I mentioned before. Plus really hanging out with friends and sitting in a park, and meditating and praying, or simply playing sports and the other small pleasures of life are not about consuming and producing. They are spiritual. They connect and make us feel what we belong. So in the end, sustainable consumption is more than a technical challenge. It really means to rethink the role that consumption plays in our life. And I think this is particularly the challenge of our young generation. Thank you.